Hey friends, good afternoon. Saturday, September 10th at 2 p.m. here in New York City. There go the church bells. We are at the reservoir, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Reservoir here in Central Park, right by Engineers Gate. And it's a beautiful New York City day. .82 degrees Fahrenheit. So what is that, about 25 Celsius? I think I mentioned this last time we were at the reservoir, but there's a pipe that runs between the north side of the reservoir and the south side. And there's these, I forget what they're called, like gate houses or something? Pump houses, I don't know. But when the water level is a little lower, which I guess it must be right now, the birds seem to sit atop the pipe that runs across the reservoir. So they're all sitting there in a perfectly straight line. Chris is here. Good to see you, Chris. I don't know if you watched the West Indian Day parade video I made yet, but I got a shot for you specifically. There was a gentleman. It's now been a moment, so I'm not going to remember the exact phrase, but his shirt was something like, you know, rather be in Granada. And I thought of you and made him stop so I could take a video of it. Good to see you, Chris. So we're here in Central Park. I thought about going to the west side today, but we're like right on the edge of where the phone might overheat if we get too much sun. So we'll start in Central Park. We'll see. We're gonna make our way around the reservoir a bit, and when we get over to the other side, we'll decide if we want to go all the way to the Hudson or not. TBD. So again, this is the Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Reservoir, one of my favorite places to walk in the city. Beautiful green Central Park after the rain we got. And lots of people are here exercising on this beautiful September day. Chris says, saw some. Lots of Granada flags. Small island, but huge diaspora, absolutely. Well, it was a fun parade to celebrate. And our first with our fancy new press badge, so I got to be on the other side of the police line. And let me tell you, that was a really cool experience. Check out the plants here. I'm sure we're gonna get some very cool flowers at some point. Sebastian's here, good afternoon. Welcome. Perfectly blue sky. Everything green because of the rain we got. It's just beautiful here today in Central Park. Last walk I did in Central Park, it was pouring rain, and we did the 6-mile loop of the drives. So if you're into those rain sounds hitting the umbrella, check out that video. Rolo's here. Org Rock is here. Good to see everybody. It's just a beautiful day here in New York. Obviously, a bit of a somber weekend. Tomorrow's the 21st anniversary, September 11th, as well as the Queen's passing. So my sympathies to everybody. On your left?
So you just don't want to go? No. Why would I want to go? I'll send her $100. Why did she? I think her wedding was. No, but I think
I think they're going to discover quickly taking up the entire track is not the way to go. But good luck with that. Gosh, it's really beautiful here today. You know what, we probably will just stay in Central Park today, so if you just joined, I was trying to decide what we were going to do today. And I thought about the Hudson River, and I was saying we're kind of on the edge of where the phone might overheat if we're just purely in the sun. So we started here, but it's so beautiful because it just rained. And it's looking so green. I think we're going to do a Central Park day. So we're coming up to the north end of the reservoir. I think we're going to take it around, head over to the west side, and then we'll start walking south. ABX Girls here, 1954 Yankees, and my beautiful bride Lisa. Lisa's at home taking care of Mini Bagel, although we are continuing to learn he's not so mini after all. Projected delivery weight is now 11 pounds. So Lisa's getting some much needed rest on the couch, taking care of the little dude. I will be taking care of most of our walks these days. Obviously she's getting plenty of exercise and stuff, but it's getting a little harder to do these. Thierry's here. Hope I'm pronouncing that correct. Always good to see you. Thank you for joining. And we have a view here of 59th Street, 58th Street, 57th Street. So Central Park South and the many, many, many towers of Billionaires Row. Lisa says, wish me luck. Yeah, I know, it's really something. So TBD on what it all means, but it does seem to increase the likelihood of him coming around a little earlier. And I was already struggling to wrap my head around this whole thing. So no time for that, huh? This feels little dude, more like hello, sir. Parth says, take care, Lisa. Chris, take care of yourself, a Mini Bagel. Yeah, Lisa's doing a bang-up job. It's not easy. Not at all. But everything still points to happy and healthy, which is all that matters. But big shout out to Lisa for all the heavy lifting, literally. Gosh, it's beautiful here today, isn't it? 1954, that's our first. Yes, it is our first. This area right here used to have the best sunflowers and stuff, or dandelions. You can still see some of them.
Brave.
It's supposed to be late October, but I think there's a greater and greater chance that it could be a little earlier now. But yeah, we're in the final innings. Really crazy. But we are very excited. Part says, seems like more heat today. Yeah, so I think the last time we did a live stream, we were starting to feel a little bit of the September autumn weather. It's like 83 right now, and not too many clouds. So when you're in the sun, definitely feels pretty warm. So we're gonna take the bridge, this beautiful bridge. I wish I knew the name of this one. And we're gonna head off of the reservoir, so everybody say goodbye to the reservoir. And we're gonna enter the park. No plan today. Just gonna explore, enjoy the last bits of summer in the city. Lisa says last 6 weeks, but who's counting?
Yeah, I mean, only like 2 minutes.
See lots of birthday parties, picnics, romantic dates here in Central Park on our left, and then on our right are the tennis courts, which have anecdotally seemed much busier, probably folks inspired by the US Open. S. Fields, good to see you. S. Fields was on our nice little premiere yesterday. Did a recorded walk of Fifth Avenue. Thank you for being with us for that. Here's the tennis courts, nice big shot of the tennis courts. Like I said, anecdotally at least, much busier lately. I think folks have been inspired by Serena, which is great. Got some adults in the foreground, and then looks like there's also some kids playing in the back. And I was just hearing a little jazz. So Saturday in the park. It's a beautiful day. I think we're going to get lots of music today. I'm really excited for that. Gonna have to find a spot at some point to fix my shoe. Okay, so we have exited the reservoir. We're now on the west side of the park. And I've mentioned this tip before, but if you look at the lamps in Central Park, some of them will have 4-digit number stamped on them. The last one was 9415, and those first 2 digits tell us we are near 94th Street, so we're near West 94. And there's the jazz trio. Beautiful. We're gonna hop on this path, start heading south. And last time we were in the park, we were getting a bunch of questions about the Dakota, so maybe we'll go get a good shot of the Dakota today. Maybe that'll be a destination we'll keep in mind. Don't really have a plan today. Just gonna wander, enjoy summer in the park. Bozo asked, will we live stream the birth? That's a big negative. I think I'll be lucky if I don't pass out. I think Lisa and I have been joking. Obviously many beautiful things about this, but I think she's also looking forward to a little amnesia. That's a funny dog. Just decided that was his spot to sit.
I'm hungry. Does anyone have some Oreos?
Quick question, since that kid was asking for Oreos. Oreos or Hydrox? Or Numinos? Lisa says, it's not been fun, but excited to meet our guy. It's been an adventure and a journey thus far. Just the beginning. When we get to the next clearing, I'll show you guys the San Remo. Beautiful towers along ritzy Central Park West. Paul Greenwell's here. Good to see you. Thank you for joining.
Whatever, so.
Strolling Central Park today. Very busy today. Lisa says she has a Oreo McFlurry waiting for her in the freezer. Breakfast of champions. Let's go get a little view of Central Park West. We were talking about this on the premiere yesterday with S. Fields, that the city is getting a lot busier post-Labor Day. I think a lot of folks have been called back to the office. So between, the heat, the big little dude, and just how busy the city's getting, it's just a little tougher for Lisa to get around. We'll try to cross over to the other side, the sidewalk over there in a minute when we can. So we had a big rain the other day, and the park just looks fabulous today. Bozo says you can hear the crickets dying out. Yeah. You want to hear something funny? I did a video at. Okay, I'm going to try to make it across. I did a video at the Brooklyn Botanic Garden, and it was so funny because I guess the planes for LaGuardia fly right overhead, and every time a plane comes by, all the crickets die down. It's just the funniest thing, and it's like every 3 minutes. Carol Woods is here. Good to see you. How's Little Bagel doing? So everything's checking out. He's a big guy. I was saying before, his projected birth weight is now 11 pounds. I think there's a big margin of error in there in the estimates and et cetera, but could mean that he will come earlier than we expected. But everybody's happy and healthy, which is all that matters. Tamaris is here. Good to see you. Checking out Central Park today. That was nice. We just passed a little birthday setup. They have a nice piñata. And check out this view of this apartment building. Just beautiful over here. This is the west side of the park. That's Central Park West. I just passed a bench from the Manhattan Women's Sports Club, and it said, "Never sit on the sidelines." That's a funny one. We've talked about this before, but the current going rate for a bench here in Central Park, $10,000 US. So let us know if you were to have a bench, what you would say on it for $10,000. Last time we were in the park, S. Fields told us, she would say, "This cost me $10,000, which still cracks me up. Yeah, Chris, can you believe it? And it turns out there's probably plenty of people in Manhattan who can swing that. Well, Bozo, we're doing it for you. I will say, it is a beautiful day. It's a little warm here in New York City, but it is beautiful out. Colors are great today. So on our left, the Arthur Ross Pine Tum, which is kind of a little pine. King Dubs is here. Hello. Lisa just shared a nice quote with us. Afraid of everything, but did it anyways. Yeah, that's what it feels like. And I'm sure even more so for you, obviously. Be in a position to contribute to the city. I have noticed, once we started reading about that, I've noticed more and more similar, but hopefully more affordable ways of doing that. So I've started to notice, like, there's obviously many, many, many parks in New York City, and some let you contribute to a tree, other things. So you never know. Could be something that is a little more possible than 10 G's. JP is here. Good to see you. Yeah, so we had a little network bump there. I love being in the park, and I like streaming from Central Park because it's just such a beautiful place, but it will buffer from time to time, so just bear with me. I usually try to talk a little less when I notice that the network is acting funny, so it's not stuttering or whatever. King Dubs, am I going to ride the bike today? I tried biking in New York a couple of times. I don't know that it's for me right now. If I were to do it more, it would be, I think, probably on the west side where there's like good separation of things. I mean, I guess I could do it here on the drives. I don't want to bike near cars in New York City.
Yeah.
It takes both strength of character and a healthy ability to turn off many of your instincts. Guy carrying his baby in one of those baby carriers. We got one of those so I can take the little dude on walks. It was a gift from a family member. So excited, very excited to get to use that one day. Another beautiful bridge here in Central Park. You know what? Maybe we're gonna walk over on Central Park West for a little bit. We'll go check out the American Museum of Natural History. I want to go see the Dakota, and then we'll head back into the park. Like I said, no plan today. A little bit of a wander. Bear with me. We're gonna go off-roading here for a second. Yeah, it's a really beautiful New York City day today. And lots of music in the park today, as expected. I think we'll go this way. So many like birthday parties and stuff happening in the park. Sign reads, lawn open 9 a.m. to dusk. And then the second one, no organized sports allowed. Guess you have to use the baseball fields for that. Julia's here. You still have summer. We already have autumn. Yeah, I think we're having the last. Summer's kind of hanging on. I'm really excited for autumn because autumn in the park, when the leaves change, really is one of the most beautiful things you can imagine. And we will do our best to convey that to everybody. That musician was David Spectra. David Spectra, if you want to look him up, support him. Gonna exit the park here for a little bit, go check out the American Museum of Natural History. We're at Central Park West and 81st Street. And we have a little bit of a traffic jam here. Okay. Okay. Yes, no? Okie dokie. There's a traffic enforcement officer who, I guess there's nothing to be done. Jose says, good riddance summer. All right, another light for us. There's a lot happening. A lot of poor driving. So this is the American Museum of Natural History. Lots happening here. Oh, the sounds of New York. The people in the tour bus getting a true New York City experience. Utter gridlock. It's really cracking me up. Clinton says, kind of funny that in about 6 weeks the Bryant Park ice skating rink will be ready to open. Isn't that crazy? This is fantastic. I'm really enjoying this.
What time?
If you're new to the channel, you will learn very quickly. I have no sympathy for people who choose to drive a private vehicle into Manhattan and then discover that used to be a statue of Roosevelt over here that's been covered. Part of the city's efforts to revisit some of its monuments. Love the American Museum of Natural History. It'll be fun to take the little dude here one day. And I feel like I've mentioned this before, but it's one of the museums, they do, from time to time have exhibits and so on. Like recently, we saw dinosaurs one, and I think right now there might be a sharks exhibit. But a huge portion of the museum basically never changes. It's like the old dioramas and stuff. So it's kind of cool that stuff you saw or your parents saw or even beyond, you'll be able to share. It's pretty neat. Moses said, thanks, Robert Moses. I've mentioned before, it's on my list to read the big biography of Robert Moses. Maybe I'll do an audio reading for the little dude. And DeBailey's here with a 10-pound super sticker. That's so nice of you. That's so nice of you. Thank you. Gonna go to the Mini Bagel Fund. We greatly appreciate that. Thank you, DeBailey. Good to see you. Our thoughts and sympathies are with our friends across the pond right now.
Oh, we forgot to do the photo booth.
We have, I'm trying to remember a couple things. So one, near 6th Avenue and Minetta Lane. So if you're familiar with New York City, it's where like the Joe's Pizza, the really famous Joe's Pizza is. There's a very small street. I think that one's called Downing Street. Lisa will correct me, but there's a park right there. Sorry, my brain is just slowly churning away on this thought. Is it Downing Street? I think it might be a different street name. But there's a sort of British park right there. And it has this beautiful, it's like a globe inside of it. And then in Lower Manhattan is Queen Elizabeth Park. And she, it turns out, only came to the United States, only came to New York, I guess I should say, 3 times. Which is sort of funny given, how long a life she led. And on her 3rd visit, if I remember correctly, and I apologize if I get some of the details a little bit wrong, but if I remember correctly, it was 2010. And she dedicated that Queen Elizabeth Park to members of her empire who perished in the September 11th attacks. So we're here at the New York Historical Society, which if you've never been, really recommend. I'm going to walk around here for just a minute. Christian's here. This reads, New York Historical Society, founded in 1804. This institution is the oldest museum in the city. Its research library and museum hold the architectural files of McKim, Mead, and White, as well as the original watercolors of John James Audubon's Birds of America. The central colonnaded section was completed in 1908 by York and Sawyer in an austere classical style derived from the architecture of ancient Rome, while the wings were designed by Walker and Gillette in 1938. New York Landmark, 1989. Over here is a beautiful statue of Frederick Douglass. Great American.
I didn't even have a drink. Otherwise, usually on Saturdays, like Fridays, I have a drink before I go.
And then on the other side, you probably already saw, but another statue of Abraham Lincoln. I think we've probably walked by here before and mentioned it. For a long time, this just was not as popular a museum as it should have been because it has one of the most incredible collections. But they've started to do some really interesting stuff. They did, like Harry Potter stuff, other things that just to get folks in the room. And then once you start to attract that audience, you can expose them to, the core collection. Our friend Abe.
Probably.
But if you've never been, I really recommend you check out the New York Historical Society. The other one that's really fun, that's maybe a little off the beaten path, is the Museum of the City of New York. And if you're going to the Met, it's on Museum Mile, but just a little farther north. We've had some really good visits to those museums. Yeah, Lisa mentioned some of the history here. So she was here 1957, 1976. And then during her 2010 visit, she dedicated a new garden in Hanover Square in honor of the 67 British citizens who perished in 9/11. It's a really beautiful park. We've walked around it many times. In winter, it looks particularly beautiful. All the older buildings around it. And the streets down there have the vaguely British sounding names. South William Street, Hanover Street. So we're going to walk a little bit of Central Park West. And then we'll figure out what we want to do. Scott Briggs is here. He's been coordinated King of Long Island.
I'll see you later.
Is that peer in rank to the King of Staten Island?
I know you work yourself.
No, I didn't. I might be full.
The architecture over here, really incredible.
Even the tenement view with the great stereotype thing.
I think the last time we saw the Dakota, I looked up some prices on Street Easy, which is one of the big New York City real estate sites. And it was in the 7 to 8 figures.
I took.
So if you have some incredibly large couch cushions,
Yes, you are.
might be worth looking into.
Okay. Oh, yeah, no. Brimstone Mountain is perfect.
Slowly.
But how beautiful is it? check out the ornate metalwork around the building. And there's a relevant advertisement. Turn every page inside the Robert A. Caro Archive at the New York Historical Society. So I will definitely have to check that out soon. So when we can, we will cross the street so I can get you a good panoramic view. But why don't we go around the corner first, since we don't have the light yet. Get you a little more of the building up close, and then we'll go get a nice wide view. Beautiful, beautiful car. Like turquoise Bel Air. Crazy nice. Here. Just gorgeous building, huh? And it's got the gas lamps. Beautiful. And it's got a sort of interior courtyard that reminds me of the Bell Nord. Lisa and I started watching the latest season of Only Murders in the Building, which is set in the Bell Nord. New York has some really incredible architecture. So we'll wait for our light. We'll get across in a little bit. We'll try to get a nice, good shot. In the show, they call it the Arconia, but in real life, that building is the Bell Nord. S. Fields is looking forward to being proclaimed Burger Queen. Christopher says, rest in peace, John Lennon. Okay, we have a light. Really have to watch where I'm going today because people are ignoring every possible rule of the road. So if you're visiting right now, I mean, I was already feeling like that was happening a lot. But good luck to all of us. I mean, how beautiful is this? S. Fields mentions the Apthorpe as well. Yeah, no, every time I walk by the Apthorpe, and you guys should Google these buildings. They're really incredible. Stunning, ornate architecture. Again, this is the Dakota here on Central Park West. Just beautiful. All right, we're gonna head back into the park. It's a beautiful Saturday in the city. Music in the air. Again, continue our aimless wander. Entering, or I should say, re-entering the park at Strawberry Fields. And today we're walking the correct way. So the Imagine will not be upside down. Absolutely beautiful day. It's in the low 80s. So in the sun it's pretty warm, but the park is of course filled with shady spots. Nice breeze here and there.
Does that make your destiny? Does that make your life?
Folks remembering where they were when they heard he was shot. Really shocking, huh?
Like the old one.
Gonna go walk now to the lake, and we will make our way towards Bethesda Fountain. I can just hear music in every direction. So first we're gonna hang a little bit of a left because I want to go get a view of Bow Bridge from over here. I always like it. And we'll see if the Central Park Barber is doing his thing. Literally every direction I look, I hear music. Beautiful day here in the park. Christopher asks what we're doing. Tomorrow's the anniversary of 9/11. It is a good question. I haven't decided yet. I am planning to take some video because I think one of the most beautiful memorials ever conceived is what's called the Tribute in Light. Yeah, there's a musician up ahead and the Central Park Barber. New York and Central Park institutions. So the Tribute in Light is this series of incredibly powerful lamps aimed directly vertically and through light recreate the Twin Towers. It's Bow Bridge up ahead. And I think the Tribute in Light is really one of the most incredible memorials I've ever seen. It's very beautiful. It's also, and pardon the word, but it's like ghostly. But it just seems like they stumbled upon the perfect approach. I mean, what do you do? So I really love that one. So I don't know if I'm gonna be live or if I'll just take some video. I haven't decided yet, but we'll see tomorrow. But I will make sure to capture that because I just think it's really beautiful. It looks like across the water, there's a gazebo over there. We don't walk by it too often, but I think there could be a marriage ceremony going on. I'm trying to find, there's just so many trees over here. I'm trying to find a spot to show you guys. A little hard to see. Marriage there. So we are back in the park, and I'm noticing the network go down a little bit. So just be aware, there's going to be some buffering. I try to keep moving, so if it does buffer, hopefully, I'll get back to a spot with better signal quickly. But just bear with the signal today. It's always tough in the park, and then when there's a lot of people, you're sharing whatever signal there is. So we do our best. The falconer, beautiful statue. So S. Fields says she wonders if it can be seen from space. So I read, I'm sure it depends on the lighting conditions and everything and how clear the sky is, but that it can be seen for up to 60 miles, 60. And even when it's like early dusk and it comes on, you can still see it. I mean, it's incredibly bright. I forget where, I'll put a link up for sure, and I have a video of it from last year, I think, where I was coming in on one of the ferries. And I think I linked to it. I want to say it's Esquire. I think it was Esquire has this beautiful article about it, kind of telling the story of the tribute in light and different people's kind of reactions to it. Must be a wedding, and there's all these folks dressed up. And they've commandeered every pedicab in Central Park, it looks like. Very romantic spot over here. This is Cherry Hill, which explodes in color during cherry blossom season. It's funny. Beautiful. That's cool. Saying the water looks so green. So actually, I think it might be too green. We've been noticing that there's these algae blooms. And I'll be honest, it might be too green. Which I don't know if it's good for the fish or the wildlife. As I get closer to the water, you guys will see. It's kind of thick looking. This is one of my favorite shots. I always love to take pictures over here. S. Fields says looks otherworldly. Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to put it into words. And, a lot of people will tell you when you're in the city, you can use things like the Empire State Building as a point of reference. But when the tribute in light is going on, the Empire you can't see from everywhere. You can see from a lot of the city, not from everywhere. But when the tribute in light is going on, you can really see it from every direction because it goes right up to the sky. ABX Grill, that's good news. Can you see, does it say who's taking it over? Ambrose was here last time, was mentioning, he saw that headline, but we haven't learned yet any detail. I'm curious who's buying it. If anybody knows who's swinging in to save the boathouse, let us know. I'm very curious. And I certainly hope this is true. So this is the Bow Bridge. often see marriage proposals. ABX Girl says an anonymous multimillionaire. Wow. Huh. And so it will stay with, I mean, that implies that it would just stay with the current operator, maybe? Interesting.
This is a crucial conversation.
Lots of folks taking the boats out. It's like so picturesque. Excuse me. Cherry Hill's covered in picnickers.
Whatever's mine.
Manny Explorers is here. Good to see you. Learned about Manny's channel. Check out Manny's channel. Explores all over the area, including in Jersey. We are here in Central Park today, and we're walking towards Bethesda Fountain. Manny says it's a beautiful day outside. Yeah, this is like perfect summer day, not too hot. Coming up to one of my favorite spots in the park, Bethesda Fountain.
No, there we go.
Always beautiful music, fun views. We will check out the boathouse in just a moment that we were just talking about. And the first singer musician we see is Kazoo 365. It's got that Tom Waits voice, so if you're into that, check him out. Oh, and it looks like maybe a quinceañera or something. The geese are here, as are the turtles. We read recently that because of the way folks have been feeding some of the animals in the park, it's kind of hurting them. I think it was the ducks in particular. So do be mindful of that. In the distance there, that's the Loeb Boathouse that we were just talking about. Beautiful fountain here. Maybe X-Trail says rice and bread are bad for wildlife tummies. Yeah, so what we're reading, there were these ducks that, and again, I apologize if I get some of the facts a little bit off, but they had something called like angel wing, which, like, basically some of their feathers were going in the wrong direction. And it had to do with the food that, you know, people thought they were doing the right thing, I guess, or whatever, but it was really hurting them, and they're unable to fly. And I don't think anybody wants that, so folks just got to be mindful, learn about that stuff. Manny says never gets bored at Central Park in the fountain. So these are the Minton tiles at the Bethesda Arcade. Naturally lit by the sun right now. They do have some lights as well for night, but there's these skylights in here as well. And I think this is one of the most beautiful places in the park. A little bit reflective, which you can sort of see. And then there's these sort of medieval looking paintings along the walls. And the musician in here is Carlos on guitar. Gosh, I mean, how perfect is this? Walk up the steps here and we'll head over to the mall. The mall and literary walk here in Central Park. See a lot of folks mentioning other boroughs. One of our favorite spots outside of Manhattan is the Brooklyn Botanic Garden. Try to go there at least once a month. And we tried to do a live stream there the other day, and the signal was not forgiving to us. So we did a recorded video instead. And if you want to see an absolute explosion of color, check that one out. And I need to go to the Bronx soon. Theirs is called the New York Botanical Garden, and it's been a minute since we've been there. And Lisa and I have had many a good dinner at Arthur Avenue, which is the Bronx Little Italy. on the to-do list. Yeah, that was Canon. Really beautiful music. That guy's Carlos. And all these people I'm mentioning you can probably find on Instagram or other videos on YouTube. He's almost always there in the arcade. Ralph Williams up ahead. There's just, on a nice day, Saturday in the park, weekend in the park, if you need a little music to reinvigorate your soul, this is the place to be. It's Ralph Williams on sax. Beautiful jazz saxophone. As we make our way along the Mall and Literary Walk here. As Field says, gorgeous in the fall. Yeah, I think we have a new most popular video, which is the West India Day Parade. But our former most popular video was Central Park after the first snowstorm in 2021. And the entire mall was just covered in snow. I mean, it just looks completely different, like it was transformed. So I'm really looking forward to that again. But autumn in the park, when the colors turn to orange and red. I mean, we just have a lot to look forward to this year. After a very long, warm summer. Olympic is here, planning to visit New York City as soon as Amtrak service expansions happen. We love Amtrak. I was reading recently that there's some talk of a train, I don't think it would be Amtrak necessarily, but a train between Boston and Montreal, like an overnight train. Can only imagine how beautiful that could be. Big train fan. Big train fan. The Zinn is here. Good to see you both. AB Extra wants to check out the Riverdale walks. Yeah, that's on my list. Lisa has sent me some pictures from over there that look super interesting. So I need to figure out doing a video there one day. Doesn't appear to be cooling much until at least October. You know, I had a couple walks where it was like in the low 70s, but yeah, it's like 84 now. It's pretty hot. Play bongo with me. His sign says Women's Rights Pioneers Monument. And now he's strongly requesting those tips. Yeah, if you're in Central Park, but also, you know, like Times Square, if you engage with folks who are entertaining, they do expect to be tipped. Be aware of that. And they're very good at drawing you in. So just have some cash available. So I think, why don't we go walk over to Sheep Meadow, because it looks so busy. That's kind of the place to exercise, but also see and be seen here in Central Park.
When I'm out here, my drugs are set up. I'm right now, right? Yeah. Focus right now, right?
Having a fascinating conversation there about focus. People are funny. Statue here Indian Hunter. And then the volleyball courts up ahead. Sheep Meadow in the distance. We will take a nice little walk across Sheep Meadow. We will try not to get hit by any frisbees. But I feel like every time I walk across Sheep Meadow, one day I will be. ABX Girl says, according to the New York City law, the heat's supposed to come on by Halloween. Yeah, a lot of the older buildings in New York use steam heat, which is controlled by the building, not by the individual unit. Also learned over the past couple of years that, because some people learn very quickly that it gets incredibly hot, like stiflingly hot. But it turns out that when that was done, you were intended to adjust the temperature by using your window. The idea was they wanted people to have more fresh air. So some people, do weird things to the heaters to try to adjust it, but that's not really the point. You're supposed to actually use your window and mix it with cool air. You get a lot of folks saying good riddance to summer. I think everybody's ready for a new season, both physically and mentally. All right, so we have entered Sheep Meadow. Aptly named, there used to be sheep grazing here, and it is on my list. One day, they still have sheep run Riverside Park and naturally mow the grass. So it's been on my list one day to videotape that. I missed it by like a few days this year. Just wasn't paying close enough attention. But I absolutely want to do that one day. Got some football being tossed over here. Oh, almost, so close, so close. It's just beautiful. You can see hundreds and hundreds of people taking advantage of the little bit of tree line for the shade. A lot of folks tossing the football. We get out of the way. Really are tons of people here today. Can't really read the chat right now, just FYI, because it's so bright out. The phone screen is dimming. But I'll try to catch up with you guys in a little bit, but in the meantime, just enjoy the views. This is the place to be, and I'm hopeful we'll get across quickly enough so that the phone doesn't overheat. We are in the sun now. Gonna hustle a little bit, get us back to the shade. But how beautiful is this? This is where everybody wants to be right now. What do you call it? Peacocking? I'll let you guys use your imaginations. Beautiful Sheep Meadow. Love to see everybody enjoying last bits of summer in the city. Although maybe you guys are right, maybe there will be a little more summer still to come.
We're like, all right, what?
This field says it looks like a college quad today. That is exactly right, yeah. And you start to see all the red solo cups. Only adds to the feeling. I'm gonna walk this way, south, head towards the Heckscher ball fields, which has some good views. I'm gonna go find a little shade, but then we'll get some views of Central Park South. Dogs need to run. Ambrose is here. Good to see you, Ambrose. Sorry if I didn't see you earlier, but when it's this sunny, it's a little hard to read the chat. Doing a little wander here in Central Park. Beautiful, beautiful day. Marjorie's here. Good to see you, Marjorie. Ambrose says he got sunburned today. ABX Girl says the steam is good for your skin, or you have to get a humidifier. So yeah, we have to get a humidifier because we have electric heat, which is cool in the sense that we have control over it. We can turn it on whenever we want, but it dries out the room incredibly, which Lisa and I kind of usually put up with. But with the baby coming, we had to get a humidifier. I hate humidifiers because they're just such a pain to maintain, but I don't think we want a screaming baby because it's dry and the skin's getting dried out and all that jazz, so we will do our best. Scott Briggs says, lugging a table on the subway must suck. You know, the things people do. All right, start to check this out. So these are the Heckscher ball fields. And there's tons of benches over here, and it's usually not super busy for whatever reason. I'll show you guys in a second, but check out these views. I think if you're a big fan of Central Park South, if you like the buildings along Billionaires Row, this little path here, so this path directly in between Sheep Meadow and the Heckscher ball fields, you get this like screenshot view. Isn't that perfect? And so here are the benches, and the majority of them are empty. You know, when there are baseball games and stuff, I'm sure it fills up, but almost every time I walk here, you have this spot kind of to yourself. Most people are on the other side of it. There's an area called Umpire Rock, which folks like to sit on. But I think this is probably the better spot, honestly. Really good views. Lots of squirrels over here. Get a nice home plate view over here, ball field 6. It's just a beautiful day here in Central Park. So up ahead, we're going to see, this is kind of more the kids area. So probably part of the park that Lisa and I have a big future ahead of us with. The carousels over in this area. But again, just check out these views. You can see the Deutsche Bank Center in the back there, formerly known as the Time Warner Center. Deutsche Bank Center really rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? There's a little restaurant over here, the Ball Fields Cafe. Again, never terribly busy. And, you know, again, maybe during ball games and stuff, but this is a spot I encourage people to visit. There's just not as many people over here. Lots of benches, there's a cafe, good views, pretty relaxing. Let's go take a look at the carousel for a second. And then we'll go check out Woolman Rink, which has been a disco roller rink lately. Field says can't get herself to call the Time Warner Center the Deutsche Bank Center. The whole trend of naming things after your company I always found a little funny, but sometimes you got to know when the name just doesn't work. This is the carousel. The aptly named Playmates Arch. Here in the kids area of the park. Making our way east now. Go check out Woolman Rink, which also has some great views of Central Park South. On our right here, the Chess and Checkers house. Good spot for playing games. And up ahead, as you probably saw on the sign, the Dairy, which is the visitor center and shop, but really picturesque. Great lawn in front of it. We'll see in a sec. Oh, it looks like, I guess they're doing construction on the Chess and Checkers house. Guess it must be closed right now. All right, that's a bummer. This is the Dairy. Again, the visitor center here at Central Park. We're gonna make a right. We're gonna head down to Woolman Rink. I do not hear music from the rink, so maybe it's not open yet. I've noticed it seems to have very weird hours. For whatever reason. Oh, no, there is music. Just quieter than normal. Ugh, that's gonna kill the channel. They play the most copyright unfriendly music. So I'm gonna go on mute for a few minutes. If folks join and ask about that, just let them know it's because of the music that they're playing at the rink, and then we'll come back in a little bit. All right, let's hope for the best at this point. I looked at the cafe. There's a little cafe there. You can get a Stella in a can for $10. The food was actually not terribly unreasonable. There was some stuff for like $4. But a couple of beers will run you $20. So we're going to head over to Gapstow Bridge, one of the most beautiful bridges in Central Park, overlooking the pond.
I need for my fingers to become more used to just being on the road.
Agua fría, soda.
That's called Italian. You don't got it.
Everything is getting busier and busier. I remember when we would almost always have this bridge to ourselves. New York City is back. Beautiful views over here. This feels right. This is one of Lisa's favorite views. So we're standing atop Gapstow Bridge, overlooking the pond, Plaza Hotel. That is the corner of 5th Avenue and 59th Street up ahead. And let me do some zooming. You can see all the turtles up ahead.
Should those rocks be converted? No, I don't think so.
Just beautiful over here. Often asked what my favorite part of the park is, and this is pretty high on the list. And it's another spot, yet another, that during winter, when it snows, is going to look so beautiful. As it says, turtles are very important to the Lenape. Oh, this is sad. That's okay. So this is an example of those angel wings. Oh, it makes me sad. So you can see there was a healthy one. Ugh. Now that I know what that is, it really bums me out. But you can see how normally the feathers on the back of the ducks lay flat, and every now and then you'll see some of them are facing directly up, which is a symbol that they can no longer fly. And it seems to have to do with people feeding them inappropriately. Oh, that bums me out.
Turtles?
Well, in North Carolina.
There are so many turtles today. This water, for whatever reason, is looking clearer today. Maybe they did some cleaning over here or something. I don't know what the difference is. So you can see the turtles everywhere. Again, that's Gapstow Bridge. That's the one we were just standing on, getting those really beautiful views. This is the pond. And this area is very easy to find because it's just the southeast corner of the park. So if you enter the park, 5th Avenue near 59th Street, this is where you'll be. King Dub's is there waterfall. There are a number of waterfalls in the park, not really in this area. Most are that immediately come to mind are on the west side, pretty far north. There's an area called the North Woods, and the ones that immediately come to mind are up there, which is kind of farther even than where we started. Probably my last, like second to last recorded walk in Central Park. I think I did a little hiking. So I definitely have them on video, but unfortunately not today. And Ambrose is correct, yeah, they're all pretty small. They're beautiful and they make a nice sound, but yeah, they're none of them are terribly big. There's these, I feel like I've mentioned them every time, but there's these fancy picnics that people clearly invest quite a bit of money in. This is an anniversary one, and it looks like the company that's doing this one is called Alfresco, which makes sense. But they come out with, these tables, white tablecloth, the most incredible place settings and so on, which is very beautiful, but I think Lisa and I will probably stick to our just throwing a towel down on the ground. You can see they even have like candlesticks and stuff. I mean, it looks very nice. I'm very happy for them. Hope you can tell how happy I am for them. Okay, since we're in this area, I think we're just going to pop out of the park for a little bit. We'll walk a little bit of 5th Avenue. Coming to the end of my battery, so probably not going to be too much more, unless I need to head back in a little bit. Be with Lisa and the dude. But why don't we, when in Rome, go check out a little bit of busiest 5th Avenue. I'm sure there's going to be so many people out this Saturday, on a beautiful Saturday. So we're coming out of the southeast corner of the park. This area is also known as Grand Army Plaza. Most notably the Plaza Hotel, Apple Fifth Avenue. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy what we do a little mix of recorded videos which are more dialogue-free, walks around New York City, and then sometimes on the weekends we go live with you guys. So feel free to subscribe, leave a like, tell a friend. We appreciate it. Gonna enter over here by Pulitzer Fountain. Yet another thing that looks beautiful in the winter. Ambrose very helpfully reminding us that 7% equals 1%. You know what? It had happened once before, and I think when we were on the High Line, and I sort of knew it. And then it was the funniest thing because when we were at Pier 17, Lisa, I mean, she's been with me to that area many times, and she's like, all you had to do was turn a corner. Like, that's literally how close we were to just these spectacular views of the bridge. And it couldn't even last. It's just turning a corner. Whoops. So I knew that, but I pushed my luck. I think what had actually happened was when I was on the escalators, it was sort of indoors. And I think that made the radios turn up to try to keep the signal strength, and that just drained the battery. So this is Pulitzer Fountain, which during winter gets dressed up. Last year had this beautiful set of penguins and stuff. It was like a winter wonderland. The beautiful Plaza Hotel, which for a long time was covered in scaffolding, and now only the bottom level still has it. At night, Disco Oasis at the Woolman Rink has all these spotlights and stuff. It's part of their like little disco light show, and you can see them reflected onto the Plaza Hotel. So at night it looks really beautiful over here. There are so many weddings going on today. Our congrats to all the happy couples. All right, I'm waving and making eye contact with all the drivers, so that's why I'm hopping across. It's the Apple Store. We were talking about this in the chat yesterday. All the new iPhones were announced. Brain Show's here. Hey. We may try out one of the new Pros at some point. I've been enjoying not having a Pro phone because the base ones, the cameras are decent and it's lighter. But the Pro models, they've massively, according to their marketing department, upgraded the cameras. So we may try it out, see how much better it is, if it's better, etc., etc. Bergdorf Goodman. We always go on the other side, which is the women's department. Today, the gentlemen, we will look at the gentleman's side, check out the gentleman's windows at Bergdorf. Ambrose says, I thought you weren't supposed to wear white after Labor Day, part of the weddings. That's so funny. I always enjoy when people do a more unique thing as part of their wedding. I've noticed, and I think it was maybe especially true over the last couple years when things got delayed or whatever, that people were being very unique in like their ceremonies or what they wore, because it just became more and more clear that the wedding is whatever you want it to be. It's whatever you make of it. So the pedicabs are so fascinating, but they now have this thing where they all play incredibly loud music. I don't know if you guys can see Donald Trump over here, escorting traffic. But these pedicabs, they play this music, and the thing I've noticed is like, because they stop at every corner, even when I'm trying to get away from them so that the music doesn't disrupt our copyright stuff, it's like impossible to get away from them. I really hate going on mute, but it's happening again where like I just can't escape them. This guy directing traffic as Trump is pretty funny. He's not getting too many high fives, unfortunately. Got himself a high five. Only in New York. Let's go check out St. Patrick's Cathedral, and then if you, as a reminder, if you don't like my voice or my commentary, we actually just did a recorded walk down Fifth Avenue where we walked all the way from Museum Mile to Washington Square Park. We are not going to make it that far today because the battery's going to run out. But definitely check that out if you'd like. But for now, we'll walk a little bit of Fifth Avenue together. Oh, you know what? I'm a little bummed by this, but I think I read yesterday. Yesterday was Friday. Yeah, today's Saturday. So I think yesterday was the last day of the fountains at Rockefeller Center, the sort of art exhibit that you could stand inside. Stop slowing down again because of the pedicab. The joys of live streaming. I've loved the fountain at Rockefeller Center because during summer you could jump in the middle of them and they kind of cooled you off. And it was such a smart. I just thought it was like one of the smartest things they've added. This is the Fifth Avenue Presbyterian Church. There's many churches along Fifth Avenue, all beautiful. Most famous, of course, St. Patrick's, but encourage you to stop by all of them. They're all beautiful in their own ways. St. Regis across the street, if you're looking for a 5-star hotel. Just as beautiful on this side of the street as the Peninsula. A little hard to see during the day, but at night when you walk up alongside, and I'll show you in a second, but it has this, must be like a library or something to that effect. It's so beautiful, but it looks much better at night. Love these old hotels. So this is what I meant, but it's hard to tell during the daytime. The lighting just doesn't work that well, but you can see these incredibly thick, ornate window coverings, huge, thick armchairs. But it's much better at night. I'll have to come back one night so you guys can see. You can sort of see. It's just hard to tell during the day. But in there, I mean, it looks so ornate and beautiful. That's the Peninsula Hotel. So if you have, I don't know, $900 a night burning a hole in your pocket. Wow, that was a mama bear who made sure that was her taxi. She was not going to miss that taxi. Gloria, good to see you. Oh my God, these pedicabs. I'm going to lose my mind today. I told you guys, I love them. That must be the hardest work in the world. But they hit every light. And they play these incredibly loud songs on these gigantic speakers in order to get business. And if you're live streaming, it's just a constant problem because of the music that they play. It's just the funniest thing. Like every block, there's 3 of them. All right, another Fifth Avenue church, St. Thomas. I mean, check this out. We're gonna pause here for a minute just so you can see the detail. You know, again, most folks are at St. Patrick's a couple blocks away. This is like something out of Milan or London, or Spain. St. Thomas Church. It's really beautiful. Was I kidding? I was not kidding. Every block. As they say, sometimes you can only laugh. All right, I'm gonna try to wave, wave, wave. We're gonna cross the street so we can go up close to St. Patrick's in a minute. One of my favorite stores to shop at, actually, is Uniqlo across the street. I think it's a Korean brand, like really high quality, but simple clothes, which is my preference. Big fan of Uniqlo.
You guys want to go out some music?
Excuse me? Excuse me?
Yeah, 45.
No, that's good. Just stop right there in front of the trash can. That's okay. That'll be good. I promise this will not become a cranky stream. Ambrose says those pedicabs are super freaky. There was one day, I mean, I kept stopping to let them pass, and they just stopped every time. It was the funniest thing. I could not get away from it. It was like this, like he just stops at the corner, and what they do to get business is they play these, what do they call them? Those little bicycle bells? And it doesn't work. I mean, it doesn't actually make anybody want to ride with it because it's pretty annoying, but it's what they do. Incredibly hard work. Don't know how they do it. It's the Cartier store. Long line. Good for them. Stand behind our velvet rope, please. Looks like some sort of protest happening at Victoria's Secret. It's Fashion Week, so I guess it wouldn't totally surprise me that there's some protests and politics going on, but their signs are so bad I can't tell. They're not. The thing about a protest sign is it needs to be short and sweet, and theirs are neither. So I couldn't tell what their protest. I'd be happy to amplify their message, but I can't tell what their message is. Oh well. Mr. Adam is here. Said the word cranky. That seems to be the bat signal for Mr. Adam. He's trying very much not to be cranky today. But we left beautiful, peaceful, relaxing Central Park, and we are now in the busiest Manhattan. Live across from the beautiful statue of Atlas.
I have prostate cancer. If anybody can help, anybody who knows what it's like,
We are by Saks Fifth Avenue, Rockefeller Center. One of my favorite winter activities, which we will definitely videotape this year, is when Saks does their winter light show. Right now the windows are for Oscar de la Renta, kind of interesting. And the next one is Balenciaga. Interesting. Kath is here. It says the best fall fashion Debatable. Definitely debatable. As Gregory Kelly would say, this is fashion? And it looks like we have a light, so I'm gonna try to safely get us across the street and we'll go check out what's new at Rockefeller. And it should be a little different because I think I read that the last day of the fountains was yesterday. So it's probably too soon to expect something new, but we'll see what's going on and we'll see if that information was correct. And then from over here, we'll also get a nice view of St. Patrick's, the building. This feels. Oh, God bless. I think I was pointing the camera up so you didn't see, but I was walking past one of the Buddhist monks, which you have to be a little careful because they may put a bracelet on you. And again, when you interact with folks in this area, they're expecting to be paid. So if you get that bracelet put on you, they are going to expect that you'll pay for it. Just be mindful. Ambrose says when people ask what he's wearing, he says Target, Target. So this is the promenade here at Rockefeller Center, which again, there's just construction everywhere these days. Wait, I feel like Adam had some news. Oh, big news. Adam was in the area for an interview. Everybody, snaps for Adam. Sending good, positive vibes your way. Hope it was something you're really excited about, and fingers crossed that it goes well, that it went well. Is it in the, you don't have to tell us anything you don't want to tell us, but is it in the hotel hospitality industry? And for those who don't know, I am running a quiet campaign for Adam to start a YouTube channel focused on the hotel bars of New York City. Feel free to subscribe to my campaign and let him know that you would watch that channel in a heartbeat.
So Terry, which way?
Prometheus up ahead. Oh, and I feel like a lot is happening with Fashion Week here. Adam says it's perhaps a few blocks away from his previous employer. Anybody watch the show 30 Rock? Julia says nowhere to sit down. Well, it seems whatever this group is, and again, it must be something to do with Fashion Week, I guess, has taken over the roller rink here, and they've added all these seats around it. Interesting. Wonder what's going on. If anybody's plugged into the model scene, you can let us know if you recognize anybody. Oh, check this out. Head to toe pink. Adam says, same industry, is there for 2 hours, met 4 of the top managers. 2 hours, yeah. Interviewing is tough because I think what I've learned, and I mean this not just from anecdotal experience, but I think like Google and others who did a lot of research on it, interviewing is highly overrated in terms of its ability to determine fit. But it's one of those things where the evidence and what people believe about interviewing are like just totally different, totally opposite. People think they're really good interviewers. They think lots of interviews makes the difference, and it turns out none of that is true. But then folks like Adam, because of that, have to sit through 2 hours of interviews. Gosh. It is what it is. Oh, the fountain's still here, so I guess either the information I read was wrong, or maybe they're just gonna let it run for the weekend or something. I read that Friday was the last day. But good for them. I love the fountains. You know what? Since we're here, and since it probably will be leaving sometime, I think we're gonna go in. All right. The lenses, say goodbye. Oh God, getting completely soaked. All right, my shoes are goners. All right. My shoes are totally soaked, but it feels so good. British Gray's here, good to see you. Hello from the fountains of Rockefeller Center. Oh, I love it. When in Rome. I could not, my feet are, we'll see if after I leave whether you can hear my feet clomping along. My shoes are totally soaked. I will say, in reference to S. Fields saying, can we have it in winter? It's very cold today. The water feels very cold. Okay, I can feel my feet squishing. Oh, that was good. That felt good. I'm gonna have to dry my shoes out when I get home. We're gonna go to 6th Avenue now. And then I think we'll make a right and we'll head back towards north in a minute. Oh, that felt so good. J. Crew over here. See, they're everywhere. I'm being stalked. Orgrock says, so over interviewing, I've had many all-day interviews after going through stages. Lunch is so pleasant when it's with an interviewer. You know the worst, I was reading an article about this recently, and I sent it to some coworkers because we did the same thing. And it was about how interviewing has become unpaid labor. And how do I say this? I'm sure this is true in every type of job, but the one I'm referencing is a lot of employers in certain types of jobs will make people do, for example, PowerPoint presentations. So they'll say, hey, we have this business problem, come up with a couple solutions to this business problem, put it in a presentation, and then if we pick your presentation, you'll come in and you'll present, you'll get some questions asked, and that's the interview process, or that's part of the interview process. So there's the unpaid labor of solving this business's problems, and what I've learned is they're probably giving you actual problems that they're dealing with, and they just want more ideas. So they're getting the unpaid labor of you solving their business challenges. Number two, you're doing the work of creating a presentation, which takes time, and not everybody's, it's not everybody's strong suit, so they're figuring that out and they're stressed about it. And then if you get called in, you're presenting, and it's not like a Q&A, it's not like a traditional interview. You're giving a small talk and you're sharing your analysis, and again, they're reacting and you're answering their questions and so on. But it's not like a traditional back and forth interview. And increasingly, I think I'm agreeing with the sentiment that I call bullshit on that. That's just free. You're making people work for free. And I think I'm over that. Adam says I'm only half joking with friends that actually looking for a job is a full-time job unto itself. That's 100% true. I'm going to recommend, if anybody is job searching, there's a company called Teal, T-E-A-L, which I should disclose I have a small investment in. Very, 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 very small, but I guess I should say that. And there, if you're familiar with like CRM, like Salesforce or anything, it's kind of a CRM for your job search. And so what I mean by that is, one, it helps you put your resume together. Two, if you're applying to multiple companies, it keeps track of that. So it helps you keep organized, kind of what stage you're at different companies and who you're talking to, and allows you to organize your notes around that. And then they're going to do all sorts of stuff to help, quote unquote, improve your job search. So it'll give you tips, and there's trainings, and there's videos, and all sorts of stuff to help you go about your job search. So if you're in that process, check that out. I think it's interesting, and I think for all the reasons everybody in the comments is mentioning, job searching is itself a job, and you should. If that's the case, use whatever tools are available to help make the most of it. Lisa comments that she used Teal when she was in job search mode and it was successful. Yep. So definitely check that out and let me know if you do and if it's helpful at all. We'll walk. So we're on 6th Avenue now. We're walking north. We're going to walk back towards the park. And then along the way, we'll see Billionaires Row, 57th Street, I guess. Check out some of the big buildings. Adam says, one of the manager's questions really threw me for a loop. He asked, what is it you can improve about yourself? And I was like, yeah, this is a trap question. Oh, I mean, interviewing is such a, it's so stressful. What kind of, this isn't therapy time. This is like, that's MoMA up ahead. Museum of Modern Art here in New York. Which Lisa and we just haven't been to many museums lately because there's kind of the slow walking around has just been a little difficult. I've been hesitant to say to Lisa, but we may need to go to the Met and request the wheelchair, and I'll just push her around because I am in need of some culture. And it's been a while since we've gone to any museums. Yeah, job searching. I mean, it's such a pain, and I really do think people, I don't mean the job searchers, I mean the hiring folks, I think take it way too seriously. I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. My opinion doesn't matter in this respect, but I do think people take it way too seriously, and it just causes so much stress on the part of searchers. And it adds very little value, but it makes people feel important. So it'll never change. You can see 432 Park Avenue peeking out. Let me try to change the exposure there for a second.
Oh, that's great filming.
Thank you. Gentleman said, that's great filming. That's so nice. Lisa says, quote, nothing. I'm perfect and you'd be lucky to have me. That's good. God. I do encourage people to do, it's again a waste of time, but you should do one interview as a joke where you say stuff like that. It'll help you get a lot of your nerves out. We have the light, folks. We have the light. As Field says, interviewing people is also quite an experience. Such characters. Yeah, I've been on both sides, and You never know what to expect. You never know what to expect. Some of the beautiful sculptures here on 6th Avenue. 6th Avenue is a great walk. I'll do another recorded walk at 6th Avenue soon. It's been a minute since I've done that. There's lots of great art, street art along the way here. There's so many big buildings and plazas and stuff. To our right, over here, some of the beautiful restaurants. Lots of great outdoor dining. Big fan of outdoor dining. Oh, lots of... The drivers are struggling today. Let me just put it that way. As Fields had someone show up 15 minutes late, obviously hungover, drank 3 bottles of water. Oh my gosh. That is not the best first impression. I think there's also the ones where people feel overly comfortable and say something sexist or even racist or even just any sort of hateful, derogatory, inappropriate thing. Not good. Not good at all. God, showing up hungover. Not the best way to get the gig. This is Route 57. And this is 57th Street, Billionaires Row. These buildings are so tall and we're so close that in order to capture them, I'm having to put the phone almost totally parallel to the ground and go straight up. Over on this side, 432, another view. Ambrose says better hungover than drunk. I guess that's true. Lisa had the opposite, where she interviewed someone, went very well, hired the person. They showed up late on their first day and pretty much every day the first week. Oh, that's unfortunate. Jobs, interviews, they're hard. Wishing only good things to Adam and everybody on the job search. We are all rooting for you. Back to 59th Street. And I will slowly start making my way home. We'll just walk a little until the battery calls it quits. A little north, a little east. Just beautiful today. Adam says that's where that 90-day probationary period comes in. Lisa said, didn't need 90 days on that one. Ugh, that's such a, that's sad. Unfortunate.
Pick on?
Check out these flowers. Again, must be, their shirts were from a production company, so it must be some event, maybe for Fashion Week. If anybody knows any particularly interesting public Fashion Week events, let me know so I can try to get us some footage. I think we were talking about it being near Lincoln Center, but then we did some more research and I guess it was somewhere else. Lisa found there's some big event space. I forget if it was Tribeca or something. Former synagogue, although it did not look like that. All right, we've hit the dreaded 10% marker. So we have, as we know, in reality, only a few percent left. Try to find us a good spot where I can say goodbye. Good view somewhere here. But I'll begin to say my goodbyes. Big thank you to everybody who joined me on this walk today. We are live from New York City, predominantly Central Park. We got to see Central Park. We saw Central Park West. A little bit of Fifth Avenue, a little bit of Sixth Avenue. Love spending these days with you guys. As I said before, we will find some way to commemorate tomorrow, anniversary 9/11. I don't know how yet. So just stay tuned. We will do our best to commemorate that anniversary as best we can. But a big thank you to everybody who joined today. Love seeing you. Love chatting with you. And we'll see you all again very soon. If not live, in the comments. Hey, photos.